Hey Jack, antagonism and parody aside, I would actually like to hear your position on the topic of healing. Now, I know I said in a personal message that I wouldn't really ask you about this topic simply because we couldn't get a lot of mileage out of it. However, having looked at your video, my video, and our discussion in the comments again, I think that there are a few interesting points that we should go into. And I also would like to invite anyone else out there who believes that God actually does heal people to comment in the comment section with the answers to their answers to the questions I'm about to ask Jack. Firstly, let's just sum up what's happened between me and Jack so far. Jack, 2 months ago, made a video about a story in Mark 5 where a terminally ill woman goes and touches the hem of Jesus' cloak. Jesus turns to her and says, "Daughter, your faith has healed you." And lo and behold, this woman with a horrible blood disorder, is healed. Now, I responded with a very emotive response, telling Jack the story of Madeleine Newman, who died when her parents neglected to give her proper medical attention and instead decided to pray for her. And of course, the prayer didn't work and she died. Now, Jack left a comment on my video saying the following: "The story of the woman who reached out to Jesus and the guy who let his daughter die is completely different." I think you mean R there. "I'm not surprised you don't highlight this. The woman actually spent her money seeking a cure from physicians of the time, as said in Mark 5 verse 26. The story begins by revealing that there was nothing the physicians could do, much different than the situation of the little girl whom doctors could have brought back to health." This raised two questions immediately in my mind, and I put them forward to Jack. The first is, are you saying that God still heals people with the condition that they seek medical attention first? Or, more accurately, are you saying that God doesn't help those whose faith in him is too strong? So strong, in fact, that they don't actually seek medical attention because they believe he will actually heal them. The reason I asked them these questions is it seems that if you want to distinguish between these cases and say that there is a significant difference as far as healing goes, you have to hold a belief that God only heals the terminally ill, and that he wouldn't heal those who are still within the realms of medical science, whether or not they had faith that he would. That's the belief I think you really need to hold in order to say there's a difference between these two cases. Now, you didn't reply with a statement that you hold this belief. What you did say was, "I believe God still heals people. The details concerning when or who God decides to heal and the conditions that may or may not be the case as we see it is," I think you mean are once again there, "beyond my scope of knowledge." So you're claiming ignorance, Jack, as to the conditions that and the criteria that God uses when he chooses to heal or not heal people. Now, that does give you a problem, because if you're saying you don't know the criteria, then you can't tell me that there's a significant difference between the story in Mark 5 and the story of Madeleine Newman. So, in summation, I'm going to ask you the following two questions, and I'm going to phrase them in such a way that anyone else who believes that Jesus heals people or God heals people can also answer them, because you've already given a few indications of your answers. To clarify, do you believe that faith is either necessary or sufficient for God to reach in and heal someone? And do you believe that being terminally ill, as in being beyond the help of all natural medicine and all human efforts, do you believe that being terminally ill is either necessary or sufficient for God to reach in and heal you? Let me break down your options. If you believe that faith is neither necessary nor sufficient, then you're saying that, faith is not a factor in whether God chooses to heal or not heal someone. And the same goes for the terminally ill. If you say that faith is necessary for God to heal someone, then you're saying that God only heals the faithful, and he doesn't heal those who do not have faith, which may give you a few problems if you're trying to give a loving God, but maybe not, because, I'm pretty sure we can find an answer to back that up that isn't too horrible. If you believe that faith is sufficient for God to heal you, then you're saying that anyone who has faith will be healed by God. And this isn't directed at Jack, it's more directed at anyone else who believes that God heals. Because if faith is sufficient, then basically you shouldn't need medical attention to cure you of all your ills. Now let's go on to being terminally ill, and this is more centered around Jack. If terminally ill is neither necessary nor sufficient for God to reach in and heal you, then it's not a factor at all. It's not a criterion, which means there's no significant difference between the story of the couple who didn't seek medical attention for their daughter and the woman who did. If being terminally ill is necessary for God to heal someone, this is the option you may want to choose, Jack, then you're committed to saying that God doesn't heal those who don't seek medical attention, such as the parents of Madeline Newman. Of course, then you've got a slight problem that you have to admit that God doesn't heal those who believe in him so strongly that they believe he would heal their daughter. And you've also got but if you do hold that belief, and I'm pretty sure you can find a way to back it up, I would actually like to hear your justification for that belief. Any justification you like. It can be scripture, it can be personal revelation, although keep in mind that I will probably question your sources afterwards. If you believe that being terminally ill is sufficient for God to reach in and heal you, in that case you're committed to saying that, well, God heals all those who are terminally ill, which he obviously doesn't. But there you go, those are your options. Please do get back to me on this, I'll be very interested to hear your response.